Bezat Hashem, we're back at the limud of Shulchan Aruch, Siman Resh Mem Gimel, starting today, the 24th of Tammuz, Tuesday, the third day of the week of Halachot Shabbat Matot Masayeh. So Bezat Hashem, we're back at Halachot Shabbat. Dina Maskir Sadeh Umerchatz Le'enu Yehudi. There's going to be two different halachot discussing one, a person who wants to rent out a merchatz, I guess, a bed house, or a field. So what's the laws in reference to that? You with me? Zara? Yeah, okay, good.
He wants to rent the house?
No, he wants to rent out a field, his field, or a bath house.
Or a bath house.
Bath house, a business. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, so the question is, this is probably talking about just for Shabbat. Right? Now, the field, it's not just for Shabbat, because the field is going to be constant. I mean, a year, 2 years, the guy is working on it. So let's see what are we talking about here. So it's like this. There are two halachot, two sifim. So Sif Aleph says Shulchan Aruch, Lo yaskir adam merchatz shelo le'enu Yehudi. So you're not allowed to rent out a bathhouse to a goy. Okay? Why? Mipnei shenikra al shmo. Because your bathhouse, everybody knows it's a Jews' bathhouse. Ve'enu Yehudi ze oseh bo melacha b'Shabbat. And now what's going to happen is that the goy is going to perform work on Shabbat. That's asur. Distan merchatz lav le'arisuta. And he says most bathhouses are not rented out for it to be caregivers by a goy. So meaning, in the olden days, in this kind of business was specifically run by the owners themselves. Meaning, arisut, what happened was in the olden days, specifically we had businesses like fields. People would own a field, and the owner would never ever step a foot on the field. Why? Because he would hire people to work for him on arisut. What does arisut mean? He wouldn't pay them any wages. They would actually, it's going to be like today, what we call co-assignment, right? Like you tell them, listen, this is the field. Here, work whatever you want. Everything you produce with this will split, and that's going to be your payment.
This is exactly the halacha that I wanted to learn.
Very good.
Because I actually have a note recording, because I have the first time ever, I actually have a partner who's a goy, small partner.
Okay.
Because whatever, he's doing tech stuff, he's very good with technology, whatever, and I've never had such a thing before, and it's becoming a little bit complicated. And I was actually learning the Zalachot. I started learning the Zalachot on Shabbat.
Beautiful. Okay, good. So we're in the right place. All right. So
It's unbelievable.
let's see. So the first thing says Shulchan Aruch, the first rule he wants to tell us: the bathhouses cannot. People do not hire employees and they abandon them. Most Jews work their bathhouses. It's a lucrative business. I guess the Jew stands by the door and collects money and gives people towels and everything. It's not something. Again, you understand the field. The guy doesn't want to get himself dirty. He doesn't want to get going to play with the mud, so he gives it away as arisut. The men will split the profit. But here, no, it's like a Starbucks, right? A bathhouse in those days, like today, was a Starbucks. People didn't have showers in their houses, right? People would shower in a bucket, from a bucket in the olden days.
Yeah.
So this is a bathhouse where professionally designed that people come in and they have more comfortability washing themselves and whatever. So in that case, the Jew would be sitting there outside and collecting money for the entry fee. So
I think that's also how the Mazliach started, right? To go to the mikveh on Fridays, probably.
no, I mean you mean the minhag of standing a guy there collecting, demanding money for using the mikveh. Yeah, maybe that part. Mikveh, the Jews went for the thousands of years. Before we received Torah, Mahar Sinai, we already dipped ourselves in the mikveh, so there's no question.
I'm saying Amaretz, yeah, the Kohanim, the Levim, obviously, were on a different level.
No, the whole nation. The Torah, they went to mikveh. That was before Matan Torah, and it was every day there. That's it. Every day you came close to Hashem. In Midbar, nobody skipped a day in mikveh. That I could guarantee you. In Midbar, nobody skipped a day in mikveh. How, what, where, how did they go? I'm sure they went, and there was a way. You could imagine. Depends on what numbers you believe. The way that I had calculated minimum by Har Sinai, we had 15 million Jews at minimum. Okay, and but let's just take the number of 600,000 men, right? Over 20. You know what it is to go to mikvah? What, where, and how? Yeah, they went to mikvah. They had to dip. That's the Gemara says. They had to dip. They had to dip. You can stay away from a wife for 3 days, and so that was the purity aspect. And then they had to dip themselves and get the Matan Torah. So going to mikveh is a very old concept in the Torah. The new concept is that the guy standing by the door and demanding money before you go there. That is a new custom istama. Okay, so let's say lavar el arisuta. So the bathhouses are not arisuta. Pirush arisu haovet. Okay, we already explained. Okay, arisuta avid. The lav arisa avid. Shulchan Aruch says the bathhouses are not rented out to a goy on the aspect of arisut. Ve'amre shekol harevach shel Israel, and everybody will say that the Jew is collecting all the money, meaning the goy is standing there as an employee. On Shabbat, he would make a killing, especially when people are more, they're not working. So Shabbat they will go to the bad houses more. So therefore, it will look like the Jew is collecting money on Shabbat, even though the goy is sitting there. But it would look like a Jew is making the profit, and that could be a problem. V'sachar et ha'enu Yehudi b'kach v'kach liyom, and they would say,
Even though you would be collecting from a Jew?
no, even though the rabbi says like this, even though a Jew could rent, technically you could rent anything to a goy. So you rented him a bathhouse would be a problem because people. Huh? Hello. No, the bathhouse is a problem. You cannot rent to goy, and Shabbat is going to be a problem if it's open, because everybody's going to assume that the Jew is collecting goy is collecting money for the Jew. Okay, b'shlichuto and shel Israel, and everybody will assume that he is a shliach, is a messenger of the Jew. Ach aval sadeh mutar. What about a field, right? Well, so now the rabbi already. He gave us a hint from the psak of the bathhouse, because it's not given out as arisut. So therefore, the bathhouse is not asura. However, what about the field? That's what it used to be in the olden days. A field would be worked by a worker, and they would split the profit. So here the rabbi says sadeh mutar. The Shulchan Aruch paskins, you are allowed to rent out the field to a goy. Shegen derech lekabel sadeh ba'arisut, because that's the normal and common practice. The people would rent out, would actually give away their lands to be worked on by others for that profit of called arisut. And the whole world knows that this land belongs to a Jew. Doesn't matter. People will say to themselves that the goy took it as a arisut, and therefore he works for himself, not for the Jew. What about the rabbi mentioned today also? What about oven? So I have my own oven. Baruch Hashem, the people come in. In olden days also, people were not so privy to have ovens. Like today, everybody wants to delay a wedding. Never. I feel sorry, but I don't see a heter le'alacha and chas v'shalom, But again, there's many things that I don't see a heter. For instance, weddings pushed off. I hold today, if you could buy a wine bottle every Shabbat, a wedding should be made in a week. If a boy and a girl agree to get married, there's no shaila, there's no reason why it should be delayed anymore. Okay? We are the most wealthiest in the past, who knows what. In olden days, they used to take time for a wedding, 12 months to prepare, whatever it was needed to prepare. But today, the whole world is so wealthy, you could buy wine every Shabbat. In olden days, they didn't have wine. Once a year they had wine, if on Shabbat. Okay, olive oil was also scarce, almost never found. Okay, people were not wealthy.
Even when I was growing up, who was drinking wine?
That's right. Yeah.
Because it was the cheapest thing.
That's right. Also, don't forget. So because people were poor, they didn't have tanurim. They didn't have ovens in their houses. Just like a bad house, what would they have? They have a guy built in the center of a town oven, and everybody came and used the oven for cooking, for baking, whatever you wanted. Okay, that was the also common practice. So Shulchan Aruch says is that if you have such an oven, it would be prohibited for you to rent it out to a goy. Okay, because tanur, kemerchatz, it's just like a bear house. Everybody will say that the good Jew is making money off his product on Shabbat. Verechaim dinam kesadeh. What about mill, a grinding mill? You own a grinding mill, right? Again, same thing. People would buy kernels or collect kernels. What would they do with the kernels? The only thing you could do with the kernels by yourself is chew them if you want. To grind it, it's a big element that it requires to grinding the big stones, big machinery. So same thing. In older days, people would come and rent or use for a moment, momentarily, to grind their wheat to flour. So in this case, the Shulchan Aruch says the grinding mill should be the same din laws as the field. Just like you're allowed to rent a field to a goy, same thing, you're allowed to rent your grinding mill for a goy as well. That's the Shulchan Aruch. The Haggah says, ואף על פי שלא לקחה היינו יהודי רק לשליש או לרביעייה, ויש לישראל הנאה במה שהיינו יהודי עובד בשבת, שרי דהיינו יהודי, עדת אדוניו שעובד. So what are we talking about here? What about the tanur, the oven, the rechaim, שלא לקחה היינו יהודי רק לשליש או לרביעייה. So Ramah is a little bit, he says, even though he took it for the third or a fourth, whatever that means, we have to do the Mishnah Berurah is going to discuss what that means. It sounds like there is going to be some remnants for profit from what the goy is doing. Still, the Ramah says, since the goy is the whole purpose why he's working bichlal in general in this proposition is because he is earning for himself. He's not doing anything for a Jew in this instance. Yes, there may be some leftover profits for a Jew from these elements. However, it will be still allowed because the goy is not doing it. So now we already have a hint. As long as there is a concept that the goy is doing for himself only, and that's his concentration, not to make money for the Jew, then it will be allowed because of that very important element, and that's going to be one of the key lessons in this aspect of having a goy perform work on Shabbat for himself even, and where maybe you could have some ana'ah, some pleasure or some enjoyment from what the goy has completed on his own behalf. Okay, let's start Mishnah Berurah. He's going to go more and deeper into this concepts, and hopefully B'ezrat Hashem will get more grasp. Beforehand, which is very strange, I don't remember so much Mishnah Berurah over here. He has a whole big paragraph. He's not even delving into the literal discussion of Shulchan Aruch. He's going to give you a general outlook, what it looks like. If you remember, there was yesterday, right? It starts Lo Yaskir. So that whole paragraph over here, it's not the Mishnah Berurah is explaining a certain word. Here he's going to go into this whole concept of I guess, renting. Let's see. Without any delay, we have 10 minutes. Good. Lo Yaskir, what does that mean? Da sheshlosha chilukim yesh. Says Mishnah Berurah, there are three different parts or section to this discussion. Echad hu arisut. First rule is arisut, as we said, that shesocher le'enu Yehudi sheyaseh hamalacha basadeh or b'merchatz. הרווחים או הפירות יחלוקו. So I'm not hiring a goy to pay him wages. I'm telling this goy, you do all the work, and because it's my field, it's my bathhouse, it's my oven, and what's going to happen is whatever profits you make is all going to be split. We're talking about even the regular day, and now the question is going to be obviously on Shabbat. Hasheni, so that's first rule. That's the first type of the part of this halacha. Second part of this halacha, Hasheni hu sechirut. Now, second element is that you're just renting, right? What does that mean? She'enu yehudi noter kol haravachim o hapirot. Where I just rented and completely the goy is taking all the profits and he pays me monthly or weekly, whatever it is, or daily. Right? Meaning I don't care how much profit he made. So the first thing, the arisud is, yes, I'm very much concerned and I need to know how much money he made in order to split. This one, I don't care how much money he makes. I just want my rent and bye-bye. So that's the second thing. And he would give for the whole year rent, and that's it. So in this respect, says Shulchan Aruch, Mishnah Berurah, that both of this would be completely fine in a field. Okay? Completely fine, meaning I don't care. Right? If it's in a field, he works on Shabbat, the guy works my field on Shabbat, doesn't work my field on Shabbat, I have zero problem with that. Okay? Because I rented it out. What do I care what he does? Okay. Umerchatz, rak medina.
Rabbi, but I don't understand something. How can you just rent the field just for Shabbat?
No.
It's my partner all week long.
That's what we're saying. No. You rented the field for the whole year and you don't care that he works on Shabbat. Even though, technically speaking, maybe you might ask a question. It's good you pointing it out. I should have said it earlier. Maybe you might say, well, he's earning on Shabbat and he's paying you rent. Portion of the rent that he's paying you is from the profits in Shabbat. Maybe that should be asur. We say no. That far we don't reach. We don't say he could work on Shabbat as much as he wants on the field, because he is paying me yearly rent. No, for sure. Just to rent for Shabbat will be asur. We're not talking that discussion. Shulchan Aruch is not talking about it just on Shabbat, because over here you're giving him a just on Shabbat. That most probably, again, how can you make money out of a field just on Shabbat? Unless you want to say what they did in Israel over there, the garbage behavior on October 7 when they had the whole field. Somebody was rented the field, or somebody was making money just for the land to then make a party on Shabbat. Maybe. Again, that's not technically, that's not working the field, right? They rented the field to make a Chilul Shabbat on Shabbat. I don't know. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about specifically where you rent out a field for the whole year, or you rent it out, in this case, well, let's say a mill, grinding mill for a whole year, and he's using it on Shabbat and he's making money on Shabbat, and maybe you might say, let's have a problem because he's using that money, maybe he's using partially of that money to pay rent. We say, no, we don't stretch that Shabbat out. That far we don't go. You could always say that he's paying rent from Mondays, from Sunday to through Friday's earnings. You don't need to say necessarily that he's paying rent from Shabbat earnings. That's going to be stretching. Umerchatzo davar katzuv lechol shana, right? So even if you've rented, 1 second. Oh, okay. שאין היהודי נוטל כל הרווחים על הפירות, ונוטל ישראל עבור שדהו ומרחצות דבור קצוב לכל שנה. Okay? So he pays him either for the whole bath house or for the field the entire year. שני החלוקים האלו מותרים בשדה לגמרי. So in this instance, for a field kind of rental, it's not a problem. Let's just go weiter. ובמרחץ רק מדינה. Okay, what does that mean? However, when it comes to the bathhouse, it's only going to be Medina from the rules, from the din, the rules. What are the rules concerning the bathhouse? De'eina Yehudi adata denafshi ave, where completely a goy is working in the bathhouse completely for himself. Ela shechachamim asru elu shnei hachalukim b'mirchatz mishum marita ayin. So technically, there's going to be a problem. Marita ayin. If people don't know, and the people will be suspecting that it's actually done that the Jew is making profits from the bathhouse. So the sense of the suspicion, Marita Ain is a very, very important and delicate matter in the halacha. Al Shmo, since it is the bathhouse called under the Jew's name, so everybody will be suspecting that the goy is a messenger of a Jew, collecting rent or collecting money. So now this is two parts. We have first part arisut, second part rental. The third part is kablanut, a contract. What does that mean? Dehainu shiyu kol arvachim l'Israel, right? רק שישראל נותן לעין היהודי דבר קצוב לכל שנה עבור פעולתו. So kablanut would be what? Employee. You have an employee, hourly employee. Same thing, or daily employee. Meaning a goy gets a salary and all the profits come to a Jew. So that's a third element of type of employment here. Zeu vadai asur medina. So the halacha, this for sure is going to be prohibited where a goy is getting paid a salary from a Jew, from a Jew's possessions. Zeh medina b'mirchatz. So the Torah will 100% prohibit it from such employment in the bathhouse. Have Hayena Yehudi shlucho shel Israel. What?
This halacha is alright or the
Sounds like I don't want to go that far yet. Let's see. Maybe it'll tell us. But right now he's telling you asur medina. Medina from Stama sounds like the oraita. Okay. B'mirchaz dehaveinu Yehudi shlucho shel Israel, because in that aspect where a salary, a goy is standing by a bathhouse and collecting salary, and collecting rent, all the people who are using the bathhouse, and he gets a goy only takes a salary. That means he was working for a Jew, and that would be asur mistama deoraita. V'Israel ne'ena memlacha b'Shabbat. Shalom. You're going to have work that was completely done for a Jew on that aspect. De'im lo yaseh yom echad yafsid Israel revochoto hayom. And if a goy will not come out and show up to work, who will be losing money? Not just the goy. The Jew will be losing money. He's a prophet. That day's prophet, he lost. Valken minhag rov anshe hamakom להזכירם או לתנאם בעריסות כמובן בסעיף הבית, חזר להיות המרחץ כשדה. However, a very important element, a very important aspect, if the neighborhood is known, if the community is known to rent out the fields, or bathhouses in that matter as arisut, where people will not be choshed the balabait, they will not suspect the balabait of, then it's going to be mutar. Shnei hachilukim harishonim mutar. Okay, in both cases, it becomes like a field, then it's not a problem. Now, asur. However, the third element will be asur in any matter, because there is a salary. וכל היתר שכירות, דכאן היינו שהוא מזכירות דרך הבלעה עם ימות החול, אבל ליום השבת לחוד אסור אפילו בשדה, וגם מתפרסם וזהו העיקר. Okay, so we're going to end up over here is that if you are if you have an employee that works for a whole week, then it will be in some instances mutar, because we're always going to rely that he's an hotel salary for for the 6 days. So again, this is just three things, three types of hiring. Mishnah Berurah wanted to outline. חיים, אתה לא יכול לעשות את זה. יפה. נו. So just three things that Mishnah Berurah want to outline for us, and B'ezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen, Amen.